Okay, it's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM3897, with a review that Paul Gill has been bugging me to do for a long time, so I'm finally getting to it. This is again from Paul Gill Productions, and this is also from Mark Van Tine with his cool little, diddle on the back and a signature. This is Jack from The Shining. And I think I saw this, if I remember correctly, I saw this for the first time 2015 when I was at Wonderfest. I don't remember seeing it there this year. It probably was. I think they still offer it. But anyway, this was a cool piece. I kind of went crazy with Paul Gill last year. I bought a bunch of stuff from him. But once I got that, when I got those 11 bucks and I painted him up, I was like, this guy does awesome work. So I started getting some other stuff. So just a cool piece. I love The Shining. Great movie by Kubrick. So let's go over the kit real quick. So first off, let's start with the face sculpt. So Mark Van Tine, he's one talented dude. Let's see this. Come on, focus. I gotta get all stuff out of the background so it'll focus on the face. So here's Jack in all his insanity. Just really, really cool. I mean, this guy's got some sculpting chops. Just nailed Jack to the T. Really, really nicely done. Got that crazy, what really brings this to life is getting those eyes painted incorrectly, getting that kind of crazed, Johnny's here, or here's Johnny. Look, what he does when he's coming through the door with the axe. So, awesome job by Mark. And then, again, Paul delivers on his casting. There's always going to be a mold line, but his are always very minimal and very easy to clean up. It goes through the hair a little bit. It gets lost kind of in here because it goes along with the hair at the top. And you just got a little bit to go through on the sides here. But, again, this is probably a 5 or 10 minute cleanup job on the hair. So awesome job by Paul. Here's Jack's torso. And again, really nicely done by Mark as far as sculpting goes. And then Paul did a fantastic job with the casting. Looks like he actually went in and cleaned up the mold line for the most part, because I only see it really on the bottom. So I'm not sure if you're cleaning these up, Paul, but it looks good. Very nicely done. Like almost zero cleanup on this guy. So cool. And then we have, we'll go over, and here's Jack. What Paul wanted me to do is kind of go over the assembly of this, because it is a little tricky because of the way it was sculpted and casted. The assembly will be a little tricky. And the base is cool, even though it's molded in pink. It's the white snow with the footprints, as he's chasing his wife and daughter through the maze. So I love all the little hints and stuff they put in there. And as I mentioned before, we get a great drawing by Mark on the bottom, signature, all work and no play. Just really fun little touches. The part of the base that Jack actually sits into represents the maze and the hedges. Really cool. And then we got the thing here. And if I'm seeing this correctly, I'm seeing a face in the letter T and H. So that's I'm just now noticing this for the first time. That there's like a little face in there, and you may not see it. I want you to throw a wash in there. There's some eyes and nose and mouth. That's pretty cool. I'm just now noticing, and I've looked at this kit a lot, and I'm just now noticing that. So you have the hedge, the thing. This will lock right in here. This is actually the back of the base. This is the front. Torso will go in there. It's a perfect fit. And then Jack's head will go in there. There'll be a little bit. Let me bring the camera down. Actually, I can't bring the camera down. It's as low as it's going to go. So, anyway, this is a really good fit right here in the base. This fits in perfectly. The torso pegs in perfectly, so just to show you that. And then I'm going to take this off so I can show you how the head sits in there. And the head goes in really, really well. And there will be a little bit of putty work down there in the neck. So that'll be actually really easy. What I'll do is I'll drill a nice big hole here, a big hole there. I'll throw little A's in there, and I'll just squeeze it out. And while it's still pliable, I'll just smooth it out with a little bit of water. So what I'm thinking I'm going to have to do, unless I do like the Vaseline trick where you put your Aves down. You just cover this with Vaseline. What I really don't want to have to do is touch up the skin tone after putting it in. So we'll see. I don't have to think about how I want to do that, so I don't have to do too much touch up. I may have to. I actually could probably carve a little bit out here just so it sits in there. But ideally, I don't have to do any touch up. We'll see. It's a very minor gap there. I don't know. I have to think about it a little bit. It's very, very tiny. I dare say I could just leave it and get away with it, but I don't know. That's kind of flirting with danger in my opinion, but if I put it in there just the way it wants to sit, you can barely see it, and there's a slightest bit of a gap. So that may just play off as, you know, if I paint it right, I could just play that off as part of the shadow. So anyway, and then here's the tricky part of this kit, are the hands, okay? So, you know, Jack's holding the axe like this, and of course that can't be all molded as one piece. So they had to obviously cut the hands off. Let's see if I get this right. And this will be a little tricky to get all lined up. I probably won't be able to do it very well on camera here for you guys, because I tried it one other time when I first got the kit. So what you have to do is you have to get like these in here, and then the tricky part is the handle. I got that upside down. And also I put the hand in correctly. So this goes like that. This goes like this. And then the handle goes in between. So it's a little, I have to think about how I want to do this. I'm not sure if the smart thing to do is maybe get this all put together and then put it in. That's probably the smart thing to do. Not that I'm really smart, but I think it's too hard, because you want to be able to put this in there and fill any little gaps and everything in the hand, because there's a little bit of a gap. It's just how it is. So I think put that in, fill that in, get that nice and soft, put a nice pin going through the hand and a really nice pin going through the handle, and get that locked into place. And then do the same thing here. You know, put a nice long pin going into there, and then really, you know, and then into the handle, so it's a nice continuous piece. And I think what I'll have to do is basically kind of tack with a little bit of super glue, and this is before any painting is done. Just kind of tack the hands in place with pins and stuff, and just kind of get them roughed in. And once those are roughed in, I can play with the handle placement to get that lined up. That's the only tricky part of this kit. And then the axe handle just goes, you know, right here, just like that. So yeah, that's the tricky part of this kit, is getting these three pieces lined up and onto the arms. So, you know, whatever, you got to figure it out. Everything can't be simple. And the extras they throw in, you get a room key to 237. Don't go into 237. That's really cool. And then I've never read the book, but they throw in one of these little bush animals, and I guess these guys come to life in the book. So again, two cool little bonuses they throw into the kit for you. And of course, Mark has signed it and dated it on the bottom. So there's Jack from Paul Gill Productions and Mark Van Tine. You know, these reviews are really simple for Paul, because everything's really good. There's hardly any critiques, you know, as far as like negative things to say. Just really good stuff. Very well priced for what you get. I can't remember what I paid for Jack. Maybe Paul can correct me, or you can look on their website. I want to say it's like $125 or something, maybe $130, but that was before shipping, because he shipped it to me from New York. But again, if you haven't seen anything from Paul Gill and Paul Gill Productions, check them out on Facebook, send them a note. Just really good stuff. Those two guys make a good team, because you got a great sculptor and a fantastic producer caster, and they're just putting out really, really nice pieces at very affordable prices. So again, support your artists, support your producers and your casters. Stay away from those recast guys, because you know you're putting these guys out of business. But yeah, great stuff again. And again, like I said, Paul is a big softy like Harry. Super nice guy. So this is Matt Morozic, aka MVM3897, signing out, and I'll keep doing reviews for you guys. Thanks.